Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This post is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology broadcast, which you can see on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Here I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page. Then we'll do a quick rundown of the day's aspects and transits before we play another card, which usually gives us something more to think about. Let's get into it. So the card that sits on the side of the page currently is the Three of Cups. Three of Cups represents in astrology, the second 10 days or the second decan of the sun's transit through the sign of Cancer. So Cancer is a water sign and cups are water in the tarot. The water element symbolism is very much about our feelings, our intuitive capacity, and our creative capacity. So very emotional vibe and also, a very creative vibe as well. And with the Three of Cups here, we see sort of a celebration of friendship. These people clearly appreciate one another and are enjoying one another's company. They are celebrating together. These are members of our community. There's joy. And camaraderie here. It looks like a very social vibe. And it's a reminder to invest time in those that we like to keep close, those people that we kind of like, love, and can't get enough of in terms of our friends, okay? So what I love about this is that it really, talks to me about the cohorts that we can get into and how we find friends in the world who they don't just understand us and see us for where we've been, but they know us very well, and they also see us for kind of what we can do, what our potential is. So these are good people to turn to, when we're struggling to make good choices. And then the other thing I see in this card is just a lot of sort of every woman energy. It's sort of a maiden, mother, and crone vibe there. So, women have wisdom, especially when they gather together and share with one another. If you are struggling with a choice, find some wise women that you know, and, find them at their celebration when they can give you good positive advice. Okay, now I'm going to, having said all that, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle some cards while I remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Cancer, and also Mercury is in Cancer. So sun in Cancer, this is a time when we express ourselves by initiating nurture and support and protection of other people. It's a good time to be looking out for other people. Gosh, it's really hot out there. It was 100 degrees where I am today. Mercury in Cancer sort of makes our communication a little less direct, which can be difficult because not everybody really understands indirect communication. So let's be really careful to get our good intentions across to people when we're trying to help them out, okay? On the moon side of the page, we have this waxing gibbous moon. So the moon is in the increase, it's waxing, and we are about a week out now from the full moon. So waxing gibbous is a time when we have shifted out of the planning phase and into the action phase. And the waxing gibbous moon today is all day in Libra. It goes into Scorpio just after midnight tonight. Gosh, I don't think I mentioned that on my last episode. Anyway, the moon is in Libra all day today. The moon in Libra is very much about seeking balance in our relationships, in our lives, in the sense of being well-resourced as well, as we make action toward the culmination of those goals that we want to be able to celebrate with the new moon. On the moon side of the page today, moon goes trine to Saturn. Saturn is in retrograde, so that kind of puts all that Saturn work on the inside. It points it to our inside to our personal sense of responsibility, and what are you doing is what it asks. So moon trine Saturn, this is a great aspect for emotional fortitude. We feel strong. We feel like we could probably handle some things that we normally don't try to handle. And you know, considering that Saturn is in retrograde, that might be emotional fortitude for the personal work that we're trying to do to sort of get ourselves back in alignment and get ourselves moving forward. Moon goes square to Pluto just as it's void of course. That's the last void of course says that the moon is making its last aspect in the sign of Libra, and it won't make any more aspects until after it goes into Scorpio. Okay, so that void of course, well, the moon square Pluto, it says tempting to misuse our power. You know, Moon and Pluto sort of gets us in touch with our feelings and the things that are behind the feelings. And sometimes having an awakening to something that is behind our feelings, sometimes waking up to, you know, the disappointment that we feel in something, or the sadness or the rage or the upset or the misunderstanding or confusion that we feel about, you know, something that has happened in the past or something that we just now realize is the truth. You know, sometimes that doesn't go over well with us. We're not welcoming that information, but it comes to us anyway, sometimes at the most unbidden time, right? So, you know, at that time, we have to be careful not to get angry or irritable or mistreat other people simply based on the fact that we've made this discovery and it makes us sad or mad. Moon then spends 4 hours of void of course before it goes into Scorpio. That 4 hours is a great time to check in with your intuitive and creative practices. You know, do your meditation, your journaling, your I Ching, your tarot, your qigong, whatever it is that helps you quiet your mind and have those important conversations with yourself and with spirit about how you wish to go forward. This one also spans the midnight hour because Moon goes into Scorpio at about 12:15 in the morning tomorrow morning. So, you know, midnight hour, that calls for ritual, that calls for spell work and witchcraft. And if that's what you're into, this is a good night to do it around the midnight hour. Any spells or rituals that you do that are related to the gratitude for the abundance that's coming into your life and the strength and the power you need to complete your goals, that's the good spell work to be doing. And then the moon goes into Scorpio just after midnight tonight, around 12:15 a.m. the next morning. Moon in Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. So Moon in Scorpio is a time when we get deep down in our emotions and really past our emotions into that sort of subconscious stuff that's behind the emotions. We can sort of get down in the basement of our personal psyche and clear out the dead wood, whatever it is that is hanging out, causing us problems and not really you know, not even really requiring any work from us anymore. That's a good time. This is a good time to just try to clear that stuff out. Excuse my pause. Okay. Then on the sun side of the page today, Mercury is sextile to Mars and Mars is square to Pluto. Mars square to Pluto really indicates the potential for power struggles. Mars is active and Pluto is about power. So, you know, maybe there's something that you want more for yourself, some achievement you're trying to make, a raise you're trying to get, more recognition you're trying to get. Just something that represents a more powerful position for you. And it's totally valid to have ambition and to go after things that give us a sense of agency in our lives. But the square aspect there says, can you seize power without pushing people around, right? The fruit of that accomplishment, because you can make the accomplishment with Mars and Pluto working together, the fruit of that accomplishment will only taste very sweet if you have friends to share it with when you get there, right? So let's not step on any toes or push people around or, you know, engage in subterfuge and sabotage just to try to tilt things in our favor. That rarely works out well for us. Even if we wind up winning what it is we thought we wanted, winning without, you know, people by our side to help us celebrate because we stepped on their toes along the way, is just not as sweet. Mercury is sextile to Mars though, and this makes us quick thinking and quick to act. So it's very possible that we can just, you know, What I love, one of the things I love about being an Aries sun is that I see the way from point A to point B very clearly, and so I can just move in that direction. And often, taking the most direct route does not mean I have to push people out of my way. Often I just kind of like move around, and I can think quickly, and I can act quickly, and I can kind of slide in between and grasp that golden ring. So hopefully that's what that says for us. Venus is sextile to Chiron right now through the 11th. We are healing our relationships. We are healing our relationship to our finances at this time. Any solutions that we're trying to seek to Venus related things, to the kind of stuff that we like to receive, the stuff we like, love, and can't get enough of, including money and resources and love and attention and affection. All of that is in a cooperative vibration with the healer here to find solutions to problems we have in those areas. Pluto is retrograde. So, Pluto retrograde, friends, this is a time really to become aware of the power dynamics in our lives, okay? Notice if there are people in our lives who seek to control or manipulate us. And also notice the ways in which you try to manipulate or control other people. Okay, it'll be very obvious to you, and it'll keep coming up until you put it down, right? So we're gonna continue to notice these things until we cut that toxicity out. Okay, people who try to control or to manipulate us, they can be left by the side, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I don't know what your personal circumstances are, but every time I've cut a toxic person out of my life, it has gotten better. And then Saturn retrograde, that retrograde is through October 22, and this is like a time to take stock regarding the level of responsibility we've taken on, okay? You took on some responsibilities while Saturn was direct in Aquarius. They probably had something to do with our involvement in the community. And Saturn is like a stern teacher, okay? So if we've been lazy or inconsistent in our involvement in the stuff that we have committed ourselves to, and especially our involvement on the things and people we rely on for support, that's going to come back and bite us in the butt. But likewise, if we've been diligent in our attention and our efforts, then we might get a reward. That's how Saturn works, especially in retrograde. It's sort of coming back around. It's almost... Saturn is sometimes called the Lord of Karma. And, really, also, I see Saturn a little bit like a Santa Claus, which does not necessarily go with the strict teacher, but it's sort of like, Saturn's paying attention to how involved you are, how well you do, how committed and dedicated you are to the things that you have committed yourself to. And it rewards good little boys and girls, and it punishes bad little boys and girls. So that's how I see Saturn as Santa Claus. Neptune is retrograde through December 23. Neptune can be a fickle friend. It allows us to indulge in fantasy. It tempts us to believe lies. But the retrograde here is going to uncover the truths we have struggled not to see. Okay, so the things that we wrestle with to keep hidden, knowing on some level that we might be fighting a losing battle, denial under pressure will not last very long, okay? And I'm really recommending to everybody who listens, if you don't have an astro.com account at astrodines.com, it's a great resource for looking at astrology, storing astrological data so you can go back and look at it and see it and compare it to other things anytime you want. So if you don't have your natal chart like pinned to a wall or memorized, look it up for free online. There are lots of good websites for that. I recommend astro.com. And find out where Saturn is in your chart, okay? In what sign and what a house. If we do a little research on what that kind of stuff means, then we might learn a little bit about what it takes to make us feel stable and supported, or what kind of work might best appeal to us, or what works best for us to achieve our goals. That's what Saturn does in our lives. So it would be helpful probably to know like where Saturn was the day that you were born, because that speaks to those things that have to do with your sense of responsibility and commitment and stability in the world and how they work for you. Okay, with all of that said, we got the Three of Pentacles. I don't even think we've ever gotten that one on this show. 3 and 3, friends. I love that. So cups is water, and that's about our emotions, our intuitions, our creative capacity, like our literal fertility. Pentacles is earth, and that's more about the physical resources we have in the world. So our body, the nice things we have that we like to keep, the things we're trying to build and create, and also our finances, our general financial health and wealth. Okay, so 3 of Pentacles represents basically something that has come together beautifully, or is going to come together beautifully, because we're willing to collaborate with other people. Okay, I'm not the only person doing this work. Somebody had to design it. Somebody, did this kind of building. Somebody did this painting, and then I'm doing my part to make it beautiful as well. So I see a lot of cooperation in the 3 of Pentacles in terms of, again, our money or our body wellness. Sometimes, often we just don't do it alone. And we're kind of fooling ourselves if we think that we do, or if we pretend that we do. Okay, so, you can take pride in the work that you've done. Say you painted a whole room in the Notre Dame Cathedral. Okay, you can be proud of the work that you did, but you can't say you built the cathedral, right? I'm fond of saying, like, we can't go to the bathroom and the toilet every morning without having a long list of people to thank for, the running water and the invention of the toilet and the person who installed the plumbing and the toilet in our own house. Like, there are a lot of people we have to thank. We don't do these things on our own. Okay, so remember that when you're building, often it helps to make it a collaborative effort, right? Are you collaborating with people right now as you seek to culminate some personal goals? And if so, it's a good time to acknowledge that and to thank the people who are helping you as well. Also, this Mars square Pluto and the Mercury sextile Mars, sort of thinking quick. We're quick to act. We want to seize power. That sounds like very individual behavior. Okay. Acknowledge the people who are there to help you. Acknowledge the people who are there to support you as you go for that raise, those better finances, that better recognition, whatever it is that you're trying to build for yourself. And taken together with, I also want to say Mars trine to Saturn here. Anything that involves Saturn really is going to be about Pentacles or Earth, because it is about the physical world and what we're trying to build in it. And sort of what we rely on, right, for support and validation. Moon trine to Saturn, it gives us a time when we can do personal work, right? And perhaps we do need to collaborate with other people. Perhaps, if we're struggling with, say, a memory, and it's an old memory, so we're not entirely sure about what we're getting, it might help to talk to somebody else who might remember what happened, right? Collaborate with others to, on the level of accountability. Like if you're trying to save your money and not go out to eat so much, perhaps it helps to have a friend that you can call when you're like, I'm really tempted to go out to eat, right? That's what I'm dealing with right now. Or, also accountability if you're working on your personal body wellness, how good it feels to be in your body, how well you can take care of it to the best of your ability. Sometimes it helps to have accountability, and sometimes it helps to have just a buddy to show up with you to go on that walk or whatever it is. So physical resources, building physical things, often requires a little bit of collaboration, which means trusting other people and letting them in on what you're trying to do. And speaking of trusting other people, taking it together with the 3 of Cups, here are your collaborators, right? Here are your best collaborators, those people that you can work with and celebrate with, who understand not just who you are, where you've been, but what you're trying to build, what you're capable of, and who are behind you 100% to see you build what it is that you're trying to create in the world. Okay, so definitely lean on your friends. If you have a cohort of people who see you, who understand you, who know what you're trying to do, who truly support you in it, then, you know, it's okay to talk to them. It's okay to ask them to be your accountability partners. It's okay to ask them what they think, you know, about how you're going forward, because these are the people who understand your potential. These are the people who are going to know what's going to work for you best, you know, after you. Yeah. So, yes, it's valid, and it's easy for a lot of us to know exactly what we want, to have some really specific idea how we're going to get there. Not everybody has that ease, and even those of us who do have that ease occasionally come up with a little writer's block or a little bit of resistance to the work that we're trying to do. We question whether it's worth it in the end. We question whether it's going to come out the way we want to, or if it's going to be more like an Eight of Cups situation where we put a lot in, we realize we have to leave it behind, right? 3 is the magic number. Okay, so have people that you trust and who know you to bounce your ideas off as you're trying to build whatever it is you're trying to build in the physical world. And I believe that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today.